So Kevin goes, and almost immediately Dean Holdsworth in the main seat.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, it happened quite well. We're not stupid in football, are we? That's happened before. When Dillon's in the seat, that deal's been done, basically, don't you? He's a proverbial dead man walking anyway, wasn't he?
He was, absolutely was, and he knew it as well.
Yeah, I know he did. Yeah, Dover away, you could sense that he'd given up. I think without saying he'd given up down tools, that's not right. But you could see that he was out of his control, and he knew. I think his days were numbered, basically, and I think the result obviously was catastrophic as well for him.
And the problem was really the problem with that is he's beaten Brentford. We've beaten Brentford in the previous round, which no one expected. Got a draw at their place, beat him at home, and he's got, of course, managing Brentford at the time. And
got man of the match in that replay, mate.
Eh?
I got man of the match in that replay. Yeah.
Oh, have you got that on your wall?
No.
And no one expected Aldershot to beat Brentford, or apart from your diehards. Everyone would have accepted if Brentford had knocked Aldershot out the FA Cup, and Dover would never have happened, and it might have been a different story.
Yeah, well, twists of fate, mate. There's such fine lines, isn't there, with life, but certainly football. And it was just who knows what might have happened, but yeah, Dino came in, and I knew who did I know? I played for him. Was it Glyn Garner? I think I knew someone who played with him at Newport. Can't remember who it was, and I just remember speaking to him, and straight away, it's like any manager that comes in, you want him to like you, don't you? You want him to for you to play, obviously, and go from there, sort of thing. So anyway, he came in, and I didn't really know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know where I stood with him. It was only towards the end of the season that we were training down at Borley Road, and he sort of spoke to me, almost not for the first time, but it felt like the first time. And he just told me how much he loved me, basically. Just told me how much he really respected me, how I trained, how I worked, and everything like that. I think he offered me his villa in Italy if I wanted to go on holiday, sort of thing. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't realise he actually liked me that much, which was nice. And then obviously the following season, I think he made me captain the following season as well, sort of thing. So, like most things, Graham, sort of thing. I take people how I find them, and initially, no problem at all. He made me captain. I bought into what he was doing. He brought him, Bish with him as well, Matthew Bishop, and obviously Matty Gray as well. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Did you ever go to that villa in Italy?
I don't know if it exists. He might have just said it. I don't know. No, I certainly didn't. No.
So, to be fair, the impact he had in the second half of the season was decent. I think the club pulled away and things were looking good. He brought a number of new players in. You scored your only goal for Aldershot against Shrewsbury, so that's good news for you. And you celebrated. I seem to remember you celebrated. It looked like you were going to their dugout, but you weren't. I think must be some family members in the crowd behind the dugout.
You know what? I can see how it can be misconstrued, and at the time I didn't have a clue where anyone got the ump with me for. But I have celebrated right in front of their dugout. You're right. It wasn't in front of their dugout in my eyes, though. It was my family who was sitting behind the dugout. I knew where they were sitting, and I was celebrating with them. And but it was in front of their dugout, and we won 3-0. I think, wasn't it? 3-0.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. And you ended with relegating Lincoln City at their place as well, 8,000 people, and Lincoln get relegated to the conference, and we're looking at a pretty strong Football League team at the end of that.
Yeah, I remember that well. It's a horrible. I've got to be honest. I can't remember. Was it Ashley Grimes, the striker? We played for Lincoln then. I remember him getting dogs abuse as well. He scored about 25 goals for him. He still got relegated. They come from nowhere. If you remember, they literally come from nowhere to get relegated. Didn't win for last 10 games of the season, or something stupid like that. And even going into the game, I don't think they were favourites to get relegated anyway. I think there was other teams more advanced in their relegation pursuit than them. And yeah, 8,000 people at Sincil Bank, and we battered them. To be honest with you, they had no fight in them at all. He's expecting some sort of game, and it wasn't at all. It was easy. I'll be honest with you, it was really easy. And but I felt for the. It's hard to rejoice in them sort of moments because obviously a football club gets relegated and there's so much uncertainty, and you never know whose jobs are going to roll, and for the club itself, sort of thing. So it wasn't nice, I've got to say. And the irony.
Yeah, we'll obviously come to that later on. But let's talk about the 11-12 season, because it starts, and we get drawn away to West Ham United in the League Cup. And I can remember with Dean, and I can remember talking to him beforehand and saying, "Who do you want?" Stupid question, really. He's a West Ham fan, and he comes from that area of Walthamstow, and he said, "I want West Ham away." And then I got the draw because you get it embargoed, and I was running the media in those days. So you get this embargo about what the draw is. And I think, good God, West Ham v Aldershot. And I rung him up, and he'd actually forgotten that the draw was being made. And I just said, "You got your wish." And he didn't know what I was talking. I said, "We're drawing West Ham away." And he couldn't believe it. And he was made up, absolutely made up. And what a night! What a night! But of course, it didn't happen at first, did it? Because originally, the first game, I think there were the riots in London, and it got postponed.
Yeah, all them donuts going around looting and setting fire to everything killed us. Yeah, so we didn't go and play that game. But no, unbelievable. I remember. I too remember. I think it was in the middle of June, wasn't it? June the 10th or something like that. Ridiculous early, the draw. It came through. West Ham fan, a friend of mine, told me about it, and I was like, "Wow!" I was on holiday at the time. Well, that's a real plum draw for us, And obviously, you're right. The game was postponed the first time we was meant to play because of the riots, and then it was just a great day, really. In terms of we did things properly as well. Stayed in the hotel around the corner from the ground beforehand, and it was good. And let's be honest, I know they made changes, but they had the boy who got sent off. Was it McNaughton or Norton, whatever his name was? But the rest of them were serious, 7 or 8 international players there. Yeah. John Carew, I think, played, didn't he? Julian Faubert, I think, played. I was marking the Mexican boy, Barrera, I think his name was, who left there shortly afterwards for about £4.5 million at Real Zaragoza, I think it was. They weren't any... No, they weren't any mugs. Do you know what I mean? They were decent, and I don't know how many there, 20,000 or whatever it was, Upton Park, but we were fully deserving of the win as well. I think in the entirety of the game, that's for sure. But what a monumental sort of night again. I love nights like that, and it's just because it's going to live long in the memory of a football club like Aldershot for a long time to come. Basically, where were you when we went to Upton Park? We won. It goes down in folklore, doesn't it? And to be captain of that and to be a part of that on a winning team just means so much to me, really.
And then, of course, Carlisle and Rochdale were beaten at home, which was a pretty decent feat in itself. And, it doesn't have the glamour or the glitz, does it, playing at home to Carlisle or Rochdale? But there were two decent sides at the time, and you had to dispose of them at home, which you did. And then, of course, it sets up, a home draw against Manchester United. The draw was on a Saturday afternoon before we were at home to Crawley. So all the players would have been, at the club waiting for the draw. I'm sure there was ecstasy and high emotion and everything. Yes. And of course, I think we lost 5 league games on the trot or whatever it was. But, it was a surreal time. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but from when the draw was made to when the game was played against Manchester United, it was a month. So that was an awful long time between one round and the next. I don't know why that was, but in a way that probably wasn't a good thing for us because we went off the rails in the league. But because every topic of conversation was just about Man United and nothing else.
Yeah. I remember it very well going down to the home game, and the draw was it's got to be around sort of 12 o'clock, 12:30, something like that. And I was with Jamie Collins in his car, and they were doing a live draw on TalkSport or something like that, and he came in, obviously, Aldershot Town. Straight away, we're a little bit disappointed because you want to be away, because we knew some big dogs in there still, and we go and play at Old Trafford would have been amazing as well. And then when they've called out Manchester United, the biggest club in the country, biggest club in the world at the time, Alex Ferguson's the manager, it's just, I don't know, it's just a surreal sort of moment, really. Just one I don't know. Sometimes you get a little bit blasé when you're playing low. I've got to say, when I look back now, obviously having sort of not being a professional footballer anymore, it's like it's so much of a bigger deal. But at the time, you don't really think it's that much of a bigger deal. I know that sounds ridiculous. And it's not by being arrogant or being underappreciative or anything like that. It's just that it's your job, and you kind of you're going to get drawn against someone. Who's it going to be? Well, they're the options. It's going to be one of them. But it was a Rodney and Del Boy moment in the car anyway, when you go, yes, and rocking around sort of thing. And then you went to wait till, I think it's October 25th, if you'll know better than me. But yeah, we had to wait for quite a long time. I remember I was on a booking as well. I had 4 bookings And I literally, Graham, I went round. How I didn't get booked, I went round Accrington Stanley away. I'm handballing things up here from throw-ins, and the ref's just giving free kicks. And I'm saying to him, I think that's a booking, to be fair, ref. And he's going, what do you mean? I didn't realise the severity. If you try and deliberately get booked, it's quite a bad thing, isn't it, apparently? I didn't know that. It's like a misconduct charge, I think. So I'm literally going around. I couldn't get booked for toffee. I literally, honestly, mate, I tried so hard and just couldn't do it. In the end, he left me out against Dagenham and Redbridge the game before the Man United game. We won 5-0. Poor Tony Anthony Pulis, because he played at right back and we won 5-0 and he still got dropped. And I was thinking, well, it's a bit harsh on him, but sorry, mate.
So let's talk about the night itself, Man United. So talk about the build-up to it and what was it like? Because one thing that's baffled me, and I mentioned it at the time, and I never quite understood, although I was told the reason, but I never quite understood why we're playing Man United and we're wearing all white at home at the Rec, at our stadium, and we're letting one of the most famous teams in the world wearing their home kit on our turf, and it just never sat right. The whole thing never sat right. We're wearing white at home for me. But what's it like as a player? Because surely you want that red and blue on you.
Of course, and also they're wearing red. The most famous, the Red Devils, not flipping it. Make them wear something else. Make it uncomfortable for them. Make it too hot in their changing room. Smash a light bulb. I don't know. Make it cold. I don't know. Do as much as you can to make it uncomfortable and miserable for them. And also, let's put this into a context as well. They've just been beaten heavily by Manchester City on the Sunday. And I think Balotelli scored. It was one of them. I think when he lifted his top up, whatever it was. And they were under the cost of the shift then at Man City, Man United, and I think that was quite pivotal. That actually, I think Man City are the real deal here. They're going to stick around. This isn't just a flash in the pan and just a nouveau money sort of thing. This is they're serious. So the backdrop was, and then we're next to play them. So you're thinking to yourself, can we catch them cold? Can we get up? Can we make it really uncomfortable? Can we make it spiky? Can we get maybe an early lead or something like that? Where because there's an awful lot of pressure on them. You've got to remember that. Little old Aldershot, there's no pressure on us. It's our cup final, basically. But nothing. It didn't sit right with me as well, Graham. I've got to be honest. Not so much the kit thing, although I do agree with you. And yes, we should have worn our own home kit. However, just the whole thing. Like we trained on the morning. Now, ordinarily, I don't mind that. I'd like to do that every Tuesday night game. I'd like to come in at lunchtime or something and do a little bit with the ball just to get yourself, rather than just sitting at home all day and then just going to the game. I wouldn't mind doing that, but we never did it, and we broke our cycle, we broke our routine, because we came in the morning, we did that, then we went to a hotel in the afternoon. There's quite a lot of stuff we had to do, sort of thing, and I disagreed with how we were going to approach the game. Our approach to the game was we're going to sit off them. We're going to sit off them and absorb the pressure, if you like, and try and hit them on the counter attack or set piece, basically. Now, I just felt that was wrong. I just felt like they're just coming off the back of a 6-1 defeat against Man City. Let's get right in amongst them. Let's play aggressive. Let's get the ball forward. Not smashing it, but let's try and get the ball forward and really put the cat amongst the pigeons, if you like, at the back for them, and just really put them under pressure. They had one or two younger players as well playing. And I just felt like we could have just made it a real proper cup tie. And then the crowd would have got on, the momentum would have been there. 7,500, 8,000 people there, whatever it was. And I just felt like we could have made it really intimidating for them. As it was, we didn't. We sat back, and Nemanja Vidic playing at centre half is like a League Two number 10. If you give him time on the ball, he can thread passes for. He's an unbelievable player, and people maybe give him not enough credit for in the Premier League. Maybe he might look a bit basic, with his footballing ability, whatever, and he might be world-class defender. However, at our level, his basic sort of football ability at that level was world-class at our level, if that makes sense. And he was threading balls through, and I just think we just didn't get amongst them, to be honest with you. We didn't give ourselves a chance, and that really disappoints me, because I think to myself, like, I played in that game. I did okay. Mama Diouf was my counterpart, if you like, and he got subbed off. I did okay, but I just felt we didn't really give ourselves enough credit and equip ourselves right, really, for the whole evening. And we went out on a whimper, really. It wasn't an embarrassment, but it was a whimper. I just don't think we made a fist of it, mate, to be honest with you. It was more of an occasion than a game.
And it was a strange old season, really, wasn't it? Because it was, I counted up earlier, so we had 47 players play for the first team that season, which is incredible, 47. And I can remember, obviously, again, doing the media in those days, and I lost count of the amount of times we had to announce a loan signing, and then in the end, players were just turning up on the Saturday who I'd never met before. And it was bizarre. I can remember one guy, Stephen Payne, who, funny enough, I saw school for Tranmere Rovers last night, and he turned. It was announced on the Friday. On the Saturday, we were away at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
He came on for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Never saw him again. Just never saw him again. And so, from a supporter's point of view, that's baffling, because you lose in touch, and supporters love the identity of players and getting a core of players together. I know it's not like it was 20, 30, 40 years ago when more players would play for the one club or two clubs and they'd have more appearances. You don't get so much of that now. But at the same time, they don't want to be seeing players just in and out, a couple of appearances here, because they can't get that identity with those players. And 47 players in one season is one hell of a lot of players.
Well, fans need to get used to getting, that amount of players. What about playing with them? Like, how are you meant to get any sort of synergy with players, understanding, call it what you like, it's impossible. And I've got to be honest, most of them weren't very good. To be perfectly honest with you, they weren't good enough. Well, it showed eventually. But yeah, you're right. In that case, like that Stephen Payne, I remember I actually thought he did okay when he came on as well. I quite liked him because you can go into his feet. He seemed like he had a bit of a brain about him. And I thought, okay, he could be decent for us. He could hold the ball up for us up front. We were missing that. Bit of a link player. Played 20 minutes and then, like you say, never saw him again. Did he go to Sutton or something like that afterwards? So,
yeah, and then he's sort of, in the latter part of his career, he's sort of done pretty well, reasonable football league. I think it's at Shrewsbury, and I think he's at Tranmere. He is at Tranmere now. Someone scored a goal on Sky last night. So
bizarre, mate. But it's just like you said, though. For me, any club I've been at has a real good team spirit. Any successful team has a real core of players that really buy into it and buy into each other. They're your mate as well. You're going to run through brick walls for them, the proverbial brick wall. But you're going to work really, really hard for each other. And, sometimes it's you against the manager as well, perversely. Sometimes you're with the manager and everyone's, united together as well. There's so many dynamics. But when, do you know what? Funny enough, you're going to laugh at this, but I remember I was quite switched on. And we'd done a team on a Tuesday night. I can't remember who we were playing. And he's flipped over the flip chart. And he's named the squad and all the subs are on the flip chart. And I've just gone, I don't want to be that annoying person, but you can't name them that amount of subs because you're only allowed 5 on loan players in a match day squad. You've got about 7 there. So I had to redo it all. Coming with another team. I'm being deadly serious, yeah. You'd probably know better than me as well. It is 5, isn't it? I think 5 in a matchday squad on loan. We had about 9, I think, at the time on loan. So some of them were going to miss out just by virtue of the fact that they were on loan. Funny. Yeah, sad times really. But any club wants to have a united front and a team that they can associate themselves with, and they know what they're going to get with a large amount of them. And we never had that. We'd lost our identity. Well, lost it as well. We were probably paying far too much money to some players as well. So yeah, they shouldn't be getting relegated. Absolutely not. But there were so many things going off the pitch as well with the club as well at the time. It was just a mess, mate. To be honest with you, we just lost that. We were little Aldershot, right? We were in the football league. You're 16, 17, 18 years old now because you've had to reform. You've been through the tough times. You've galvanised people and they've been on that journey with you. And now you're losing them.